Feel free to type any questions as they come up in the chat, but we'll save Q&A towards the end as time allows. And we'll certainly be able to follow up afterwards if we can't get to everything that was dropped in the chat during the webinar. Erin, if you want to go to the next slide. Before we jump into introductions, we wanted to ground today's session in this idea that guides a lot of our work in the Office of Sustainability, which we call scales of impact. So sustainability challenges are both local and global, and each of us operates across these multiple scales, from our individual work to the MIT campus, to the city, to the state, and the broader world. And campus sits at the center of our framework as this dynamic system we can analyze and use as a test bed for new ideas. Through projects that look at campus systems, collaborative partnerships with Cambridge and Boston, and connections to national and global challenges, we turn MIT's own data into actionable insights and real-world solutions. Today's webinar is about how you can tap into this data ecosystem, and we'll show you the sustainability data that's available on campus, how to access it, how it can support your research, your coursework, or projects across any of these scales of impact. We saw a huge range of interests in your registration responses, from very specific research questions to just broad curiosity about what data exists. We know we can't cover every topic in this hour, but our goal is to show you how to access and explore the data sets that are most relevant to your interests. And so with that, I'm going to turn it over to our speakers today.
Introduction? Okay. Hi, my name is Yu. I run the data systems behind MIT's sustainability work, pulling together all energy, waste, and other sustainability data into a single source of truth. My background was actually in climate modeling, and it trained me to think in systems. Combining with my experience in startups, I now build platforms that transform one-off analysis to repeatable pipelines. And I enjoy turning raw data into tools that help people make decisions. I'm interested in scalable data infrastructure, process automation, and even open source technology. If you have cool ideas to share or want to learn more about our data practice, let's talk.
Hi, everyone. My name is Erin Shives. I am the GIS and Statistics Librarian in Roche Library, and I'm located in the GIS and Data Lab. My work mainly consists of teaching, consulting, and advising students, faculty, and staff from topics ranging to GIS, geospatial applications, remote sensing, and environmental research. My background is in sustainability, and I received my master's in environmental science from Yale, where I focused on natural disasters, population vulnerability, and environmental justice, all within the scope of GIS applications. So if you have any interest in topics like that, I'm also happy to talk about stuff. And I'll hand it off to Alejandro.
Hi, so my name is Alejandro Paz. I am the librarian for energy and environment here at MIT. So in my role, I work with various department labs and centers across the Institute, focusing on sustainability, climate, and energy research. These include Earth, atmospheric, and planetary sciences, as well as nuclear science and engineering. So in my role, I also, like Erin, do a lot of instruction and meet with students to talk about their research. I can help you find information or help you figure out how MIT libraries can meet your information needs through our collections and digital services. My background, besides librarianship, is in researching and reporting on public environmental information and public governance of environmental data and information. And I think that's all I have to share. So I'll let Erin go to the next slide.
Okay, next slide, please. So we start from a little overview of our data pool, that's Office of Sustainability Support. And the data pool was first launched in 2018. The data pool exists to give MIT near real-time visibility into its energy use, emissions, and resource flow. It treats the campus as a testbed by centralizing data that used to be siloed across different corners of MIT. And the goal is to lower friction so anyone, researchers, students, staffs alike, can interrogate campus operation directly and build solutions grounded in evidence. So next slide, please. Earlier this summer, we launched the new design. The two key components of DataPool remains. First, the visualization and the data download. Built on top of the original DataPool, we also put a lot of effort to build a cloud-based data platform that ensures single source of truth of all data that's shared on DataPool. The data platform helps to make the process of updating datasets and dashboards documented, repeatable, and auditable. Next slide, please. One of the highlights of the DataPool is the Energize MIT, launched back in 2017. Based on the monthly utility usage data, Energize MIT holds long-term energy and GHG record back to 2010 and exposes them at built-in resolution. Users can switch between map and bar chart modes or pull raw data downloads. We designed it in a way that supports both exploratory browsing and quantitative analysis. And equipped with such data, here are some of the questions you may have in mind. Each of these could be a lengthy analysis that takes some time to gather data. This question includes how much energy does a building on campus use, what are the associated GHG emissions, and how has MIT campus energy use changed over time. And now with Energize MIT, these answers are just a few clicks away, and the datasets got monthly updated in an automated pipeline. Next slide, please. Building 14.6 is a great example how operational changes show up directly in the data. Ventilation and lab system upgrades created a measurable drop, and at MIT's scale, that shift equals roughly about 2% cut in the total campus emissions. It makes a connection between our engineering work and campus-wide outcomes clear. Next slide, please. In addition to energy use, MIT also leads among peer universities to quantify our Scope 3 emission. The first dashboard we launched back in 2023 was the business travel dashboard. We partnered with VPF to get travel reimbursement data and estimate Scope 3 emissions for various travel categories. With such tool, one can easily check the MIT total business travel related emission, or broken down into school levels and spending categories for more data-driven decision-making and planning. So from this campus total chart, we can see business travel emissions dropped from around 40,000 to 29,000 metric tons CO2 equivalent, and that aligns with shifts toward a hybrid working mode. Together with the business travel dashboard, MITOS also launched a MIT-wide travel offset program, through which you may purchase carbon offset from our partners to offset the emission associated with your trips. To determine the amount you want to buy, we also launched a travel impact calculator. You may find out more about this program from our website. Next, please. Following the business travel, we launched the Scope 3 GHG emission dashboard this year that covers more categories. One of the largest categories is the purchased goods and services. The dashboard breaks down which areas have the heaviest impact and where reductions are more tangible. The methodology documentations are open sourced, so anyone can inspect and adapt them. And we hope this can leapfrog other peer institutes' efforts to quantify their Scope 3 emission. And next slide, please. So the dashboard we introduced so far are more monitoring and backward facing. DataPool also supports future-looking risk modeling. So here's one example. City of Cambridge launched a flood model back in 2015, which did not include MIT campus flood projections. As you can see, there is empty triangles here near the very east side of the Cambridge. The blank space on the cities models catalyze MIT to collaborate with MIT researcher scientists, Ken Strespak and Professor Miho Mazrou in order to build out a comprehensive MIT campus flood risk model. We then partner with the Urban Risk Lab. Next slide, please. With Urban Risk Lab to build a climate resiliency dashboard in the data pool that includes the flood hazard modeling for campus under different rainfall scenarios. We are also developing a heat risk dashboard too that will communicate findings from our summer 2025 outdoor temperature sensing on campus and in partnership with the city of Cambridge. Next, please. This data from the flood modeling has directly informed the design of 5 different constructed campus buildings to become more flood resilient. Design teams for each building integrated strategies such as elevating critical equipments, flood proofing, basements, and capturing projected stormwater in landscape gardens and roof gardens. In addition to the dashboards, we continuously update the collection of datasets. With the updated backends, now the downloadable datasets are in sync with the data served to dashboards. Please reach out if there is something you are looking for but not currently available on DataPool. More data can be made available upon request through MIT's Data Hub. Next. So the DataPool supports 3 modes of use: reporting, discovery, and action. It gives staffs, researchers, and students the same access to operational data. Next slide, please. So one of my favorite sayings from the software world, better eat your own dog food, meaning that we use the tool we built internally here at Office of Sustainability. And the data pool provides numbers using our annual reporting, tracking progress, and planning emission reduction pathways. It creates a single source that departments can align around. Next slide, please. So last year, a master's students from CEE used Energize MIT data to study how COVID-era occupancy shifts changed building energetics. This emphasizes that a unified operational data opened up questions that weren't feasible before. Next, please. So for the MIT Sustainability Summits, students organizer use building level emission data to calculate the event footprints and purchase offsets to reach carbon neutrality. It also shows how open data enables operational choices for student-led events. Next slide, please. So the data pool improves when people contribute. Office of Sustainability welcomes new data sets and corrections. And the pipelines and methods are fully open sourced. Anyone can reach us through the data pool email or stop by and say hello to us at E38. Next slide, please. And I want to call out the many teams and partners who made this work possible throughout the year. We rely on shared data and shared effort. This isn't a complete list, and I know I've probably already missed someone, but the data pool exists because of all of you. Now I'll pass to our colleagues from the MIT libraries who will take us beyond the campus lens and into the broader data landscape.
Thanks, Yu. So now we're going to talk about some of the data and data-related resources from MIT libraries and how these fit into the how they fit in with the resources that you just went over, as well as the broader theme we discussed earlier of providing access to data across scales of impact. So next slide. So at MIT libraries, we love information and we would love to help you find data that will help you with your research. So we do this a number of different ways. At MIT libraries, you can meet with several experts across the departments who have a range of expertise from disciplinary expertise, let's say in various topics such as energy, or perhaps computer science, if that's your realm, as well as expertise in the management of data, or even getting access to mapping software and learning how to use it and so forth. At MIT Libraries, we also support the judicious use of data, which means we can also provide answers to questions you may have about reusing data, copyright and licensing limitations, and so forth. So you can learn more about all of our services on our website, but just don't be afraid to reach out. Next slide. So in terms of data across all scales, there's quite a lot out there. And as members of the Institute, those of you in this meeting have access to quite a lot of data information. So we really encourage you, whenever you're working on your next project, to reach out if you need help finding data, because as I mentioned earlier, we do have a number of different service offerings and also human expertise here at the libraries. So I wanted to share some examples of how we can help you access data and how this really fits in with the resources you went over and the work of Midos. So next slide. So I wanted to kind of compare how some of the data from the data pool fits in with other data sets across different scales, including things from, let's say, regional data providers to commercial data providers, and also how these tools work together and the role that MIT Libraries plays in providing access to this data. So take, for example, climate resilience. This is a research area that we're very keen on supporting. And so, for example, if we go to the next slide, if you're interested in, let's say, flood risk as a topic, just as you may have access to very local and highly specific data in the form of our 100-year storm flood risk maps from the MIT campus. We also at MIT Libraries can provide access to or can at least point you in the direction of other resources that kind of fit in with this topic. So if we go to the next slide, let's say you were to encounter or be interested in a regional level flood risk data visualizations, or just information in general. At MIT Libraries, we can help you work with open access data sets, such as the Coast Flood Risk Model from the Massachusetts state government. Again, so this is one of the many data tools out there that exist. And to really emphasize the point of what we do at MIT Libraries, if we go to the next slide, we also can help you locate and understand and use data sets that are in some cases either licensed, meaning that you would otherwise have to pay to access them, but we provide them through your institutional affiliation, or at least help you understand how to access some of these data sets using proprietary or otherwise more specialized software, such as the mapping software and tools developed by companies such as Esri, which makes the living atlas data sets, which have a large collection of climate-related maps and other data layers that can be both viewed online or downloaded for your own use using your own platforms and so forth. So we go to the next slide. There's a lot of sustainability related data out there. So following the theme of scales of impact, if you were interested in, let's say, data about building efficiency, you can certainly find a lot of great information on that at the MIT campus level, through the data pool, through their building level electricity usage data sets. But at MIT Libraries, we also provide a number of other data-related resources that can give you that data, similar data, focusing on different scales, such as just buildings in general and related topics. So if we go to the next slide, MIT Libraries provides resources such as the Building Read Suite, which is an online platform that provides a lot of data-rich reports and technical information about building sustainability used by architects and other professionals interested in buildings and energy efficiency. And so across the scales, again, local, regional, national, international, MIT Libraries provides a number of resources that can help you access the data that you need. And so a good place to start would be in our online research guides. So for this specific topic, we have a website that will help you see what else we provide, other resources we provide if you're interested in building sustainability data and so forth. So we go to the next slide. Now I'll pass it to my colleague, Erin.
Thanks, Alejandro. Similar to Alejandro, I'll be going through different greenhouse gas related data and where you can access it. So talking about access to greenhouse gas emission and related data, through MIT, you have access to campus, local, national, and international data from both DataPool and MIT libraries. Our greenhouse gas data follows the Greenhouse Gas Protocol, and this provides a standardized method for organizations, researchers, and governments to report emissions in a consistent and transparent manner. The protocol consists of categories, which you touched on earlier, of emission scopes, and it also has clear definitions of the factors that are encompassed in the calculations, and it also requires for a set of standards for research to have comparable results. So here's an example that we have from the Sustainability DataPool. This is the scope 3 that encompasses all of the indirect emissions in the value chain and how it connects to economic activities, supply chains, and consumer behavior. So this is MIT's scope 3 emission data, which you can see is broken down by categories of capital goods, purchase goods and services, and so on. And it also reports their total scope emissions and the share of scope emissions across MIT. So we can utilize this type of data to pinpoint areas to reduce emissions and improve efficiency across campus. Another example is that we have the Carbon Disclosure Project, and this contains data from companies regarding their dependencies on natural resources and strategies for reducing greenhouse gas emissions. This dataset is available through MIT Libraries Dataverse, and here you can find data on companies and their relation to climate change, forests, and water. Like Alejandro said, as MIT users, you have access to a lot of licensing. So I touched on earlier is Esri's Living Atlas, which is a collection of data sets uploaded by Esri's users. These type of data can be used in GIS applications like ArcGIS Pro, QGIS, and many different programming languages with their respective packages to work with the data. So the example we're looking at here is the US National Emission Inventory at the county level. And there are lots of great data sets like this that exist in Esri's Living Atlas. There are a few limitations with Esri's Living Atlas that I would like to touch on. One is that any Esri user can upload their data to Living Atlas, so it's important when you're pulling any data from here that you are able to make sure it's a trusted source, that it has the appropriate metadata and documentation to understand what happened to the data and what are you really working with. And the other is that sometimes the data sets here are view only, which is a big issue when dealing with a tight timeline. So make sure if you find a data set you like that it's actually accessible to download. And if you're having trouble accessing any of this data or downloading it, please feel free to reach out to us at the GIS and Data Lab. You're welcome to just stop by our lab. It's open from Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Or you can go to the GIS and Data Lab website and make a consultation directly with myself or my colleague Paxton LaJoy. We're located in Roach Library on the basement floor, which is the floor just below the entrance. So we host a lot of workshops here that are wonderful. We do introductory workshops, advanced workshops, and also workshop focused more in the environmental field, like GIS for climate justice and Python with GIS. These workshops are hosted every fall and spring, and they are located on the library events calendar. But if you have a group that you know about that would like an independent workshop, please feel free to reach out to us. We love accommodating and making sure that we have these resources accessible, and we can put together a workshop for you and your group as long as it's 4 to 5 students at least, and up to 16 based on the capacity of our lab computers available. And I just wanted to highlight one great success story we had with this is that the Office of Sustainability reached out to us last spring to host an introductory workshop for their summer cohort interns. And their projects range from decarbonization to heat inequity. So we put on an introductory GIS class for these summer interns. After these introductions, we were able to work very closely, specifically with Chris Rabe's project and his students and their external partners at Green Roots. We supported this project directly by going over GIS methods to examine extreme heat and tree planting, finding and downloading data sets, and then how to manage these data sets and hand over results and spatial data to their external partners. So in summary, we always look forward to new questions, and please do not hesitate to contact us. Just going to the GIS and Data Lab website, we have our GIS help request form. And if you're still not sure where to begin, you can reach out to Alejandro, myself, or just the general chat at MIT Libraries, and we'll make sure that you are located to the place where you need to be. And that is the summary of our presentation.
Thank you so much to our wonderful presenters, and we're going to have some time for Q&A.